Welcome to the third part of Mashiach and the inner secrets of Scripture. And just to finish off this part, this referat here, planetary spheres, there are four primary aspects that are necessary for illumination. And the first of these is Pluto, Djed in the Tree of Life, which conjuncts, which is within 8 degrees, the Sun, the Tephra in the Tree of Life. And these two orbs are extremely important for illumination. And we find in ancient Egyptian religion, it graphically represented by the Djed pillar. This representation is over 5,000 years old, and here we have the Sun conjuncting Pluto, and here we have Osiris represented here on the pillar. Osiris was the god of resurrection. So spiritual resurrection is achieved when the Sun conjuncts Pluto in Egyptian religion, which of course is correct. And here is represented in the zodiac by the position of these two planetary spheres here. The second important aspect during illumination is Neptune, which is hard, trine, which is 120 degrees, the Moon here, Djed. The third important aspect is Uranus, Keter, which squares 90 degrees, Mars, Nesash. And finally, the fourth important aspect is Uranus, Keter, conjunct Chokmah, Mercury. These are the four primary aspects necessary for illumination. In total, here, there are 22 aspects between the planetary spheres that are necessary during illumination. And these equate to 22 channels, 22 planetary aspects, or in Hebrews, the 22 letters of the alphabet. But these aspects are absolutely necessary, and these aspects here join together, unify to filter through Saturn, which governs Aquarius. This area here, Aquarius, represents the Moon. Though Saturn governs Aquarius, this ascendant occurs on the day of rest. Here. And this represents the Moon. So the day of rest occurs on a Monday before sunset. The manna from heaven is given before sunset Monday. So the proper day of rest, spiritual rest, in order for man to unify his body, soul and spirit with these orbs above the horizon, must occur on a Monday. Now, this is the first knowledge. This knowledge was before Earth created, and we see other religions also adapting this knowledge for their own scriptures. And we find one of those, this horoscope adapted in stone. One is in Stonehenge, we find the blue stones arranged in this pattern at Stonehenge, shown to man in England that this is the position of the spheres at illumination, but also in the Great Pyramid of Cheops. And the Great Pyramid here reveals the chambers. Here's the King's Chamber, there's the Grand Gallery, ascending passage, here's the descending passage, there's the pit, subterranean pit, and here's the Queen's chamber. The positions that the architect has done for the Great Pyramid, its internal dimensions, is based on the horoscope for illumination. As we see, if one enters the Great Pyramid, one comes across two score lines. These represent Gemini, 30 degrees Gemini. Here, this point here, and this point here on the illumination chart is what is known as the IC 1.4 Gemini. And here in the design of the Great Pyramid, we find this position here. It is the granite plug. This marks the IC. And from the IC to the beginning of the Grand Gallery, the ascending passage, this point here marks the descendant on the horoscope for illumination. This point here. So from the IC plug, the architect has gone with this horoscope for illumination to form here the beginning of the Grand Gallery. And here we find the orbs in the Grand Gallery, for the Grand Gallery goes all the way up to the Great Step Riser, here represented by the Sun conjunct Pluto. So these orbs are in the Grand Gallery, but here we have the point of the beginning of the Grand Gallery. And as one sees at the beginning of the Grand Gallery, we have this Queen's Chambers passage, and this marks the ascendant. The Queen's Chamber represents the rising sign of Aquarius. This is known as the Moon Chamber. It's a day of rest. The moon represents Monday, the day of rest. And here in the horoscope, here's the Grand Gallery, but its offshoot of the Queen's Chamber passage reveals Aquarius at the ascendant of man's illumination. And when we go up to the Grand Gallery, here, we come to know what is known as the Great Step Riser, here. And this is in the chart revealed by the Sun conjuncting Pluto at the time of man's illumination. And here we have a small antechamber made of 3 chambers representing Venus, Mercury and Uranus, Bina, Chokma and Keter. This is represented in the pyramid by the antechamber. And here we have the King's Chamber. And here we have the coffin. The planet of illusion. And Neptune, the planet of illusion, had been revealed when men entered into the King's Chamber as an empty coffer. This ends part 3